We're back out where we were this morning. I'm at Lake Mille Lacs here. Traded out the spinning rod for my IMX Pro 853 JWR, small jig, SLX DC. So it's just an awesome new setup, trying out for me. The first time I've thrown either of these. And really, hopefully you catch some more of these big smallmouth. We caught them up shallow earlier. And this little jig, I think, is going to be money for some big ones. That's what we're after. Those big brown fish out here. They're definitely biting a little bit, and they're up shallow, and it'll be hard to beat a jig, I think. Jeez, going crazy. Jig, I like it. The Canterbury Finesse jig. Z-Man bugs on the back, a little compact jig. JWR 853 IMX Pro. That's quite a setup. I love that rod for a little jig. That SLX DC makes it a dream to cast in this wind too. You never get that loose line on your reel. It stays tight all the time. It's sling it out in the wind. It doesn't matter if my jig rolls, tumbles in the air. It just really prevents you from getting a lot more backlashes. The DC is a pretty slick deal, and the SLX, it's a really affordable DC. It's pretty amazing. They've gotten that cheap. I remember the DCs back in the day were very expensive. Now you get the same DC in an affordable package. Let this guy go. Gotta find a little bigger one. Oh, feels like a big one there. Oh, he just smoked that chatterbait. It's not even that big, just whipping me. Z-Man jackhammer, 3/4 ounce. Got out here even a little shallower than we had been fishing. Picked up the jackhammer, and it didn't take long to get a bite. IMX Pro JWR 893 chatterbait rod that I really like throwing out in this open water. You can catch up to those fish in the open water really well with that rod. I throw a little bit more limber rod for a chatterbait up shallower, but you get deep like that, something a little stiffer, you can catch up those fish when they run at you. That jackhammer, fish catching machine, little razor shad on the back of it. The SLX DC, which that DC is almost a must for a chatterbait when you throw a bigger trailer like this. The bait wants to spin in the air, and it really keeps your spool tight. You don't end up with that loose line from that bait spinning in the air. You can't prevent it with a bigger trailer like that. That DC stops it altogether. That's pretty fun right there. We moved in here all the way up towards the bank. We were out on a shoal out there. There's some fish out there, a lot of little ones. Came in to fish a little shallow. It got rainy and windy and nasty and kind of sick of it, honestly. Picked up a 3/4 ounce jackhammer, and this is a bait, the chatterbait in general, not only the jackhammer, catches a lot of smallmouth. A lot of guys don't think of it as a smallmouth bait, and it catches a lot of big ones. Picked it up on an 893 JWR IMX Pro. It's a little bit stiffer rod than I usually use for a chatterbait, but when you get out here when you're bombing these casts with a 3/4 ounce chatterbait, if I use a traditional softer rod like I would skip around grass and docks and stuff, I never really can catch up to the fish. It's hard to load up on them. I'm also throwing an 8.2-to-1 reel, a high-speed reel out here, this SLX DC. Again, a lot of times these smallmouth just run all the way through the bait. You're trying to catch up slack. So a little bit stiffer rod, higher speed reel is really important when you're throwing one of these heavier chatterbaits in open water to be able to catch up to those fish. Man, that feels like a big one. I don't know. We'll see. Not a giant. It's a nice one, though. Ugh. That was kind of like those bites I had before. And I felt the fish hit it a couple times, and I popped it up and it bit it. I don't know, I wonder if some of those other fish are bigger fish, they just aren't really eating it good. More fish messing with it, it's really hard to say. I'm still fishing the bait pretty close to the bottom out here in 10 or 12 feet. Oh, well, there goes that fish. It's good to get a bite still, but I would like to landed the fish. I knew it wasn't hooked very good. We got out a little bit towards the main lake on this bar. I'm actually marking a few fish out here right now, so that's a good sign. But yeah, I would like that in the boat. It never is very fun to lose them, especially right at the boat like that. If they just pull off, it doesn't hurt your feelings that much. Oh. Oh, that one really smoked it. Feels like a good one. I always think it feels like a good one, but it's hard to say. That 890. Yeah. Hey, come on, fish. Not a giant, but it's a nice one. That is too fun, throwing that jackhammer, catching smallmouth. I'm absolutely loving that SLX DC. Aluminum frame, compact, super versatile reel in that you have a lot of different settings with the DC. There you can throw a lot of light stuff, you can throw heavier stuff. Get away throwing a lot of baits that want to roll in the air. It's huge on that. Skipping a bait, I don't even hardly throw a chatterbait anymore without a DC, because skipping it just saves you so much time getting that line tight on the reel. Little oversized handle, awesome, awesome reel. Nice fish. That last fish, I caught on that 3/4 ounce jackhammer, 16-pound top knot fluorocarbon line. I'm trying to get it down there a little ways. Sometimes I'll throw 20, but throw it on an 893 JWR IMX Pro. And this rod's a 7.5 medium heavy. Really a great utility rod. It has a lot of functions. I use this action rod for a lot of different things. It's great casting a worm in open water on the Tennessee River ledges. I throw a Texas rig worm a lot on it. Small jigs. A 7.5 medium heavy is just a really good all-purpose rod for a lot of those things. And it's a rod that I have on the deck, frankly, pretty much all the time with something rigged on it. It's different where I go in the country, but this rod does so many different things and does a lot of things well. Football head, I've caught them deep on a big heavy tube with it before when I want a little more rod and a little more line around the zebra mussels. Really just a great utility rod. That feels like a good one on the jig. Here's a great big one too. I think. This is that little compact Scott Canterbury Dirty Jigs. It's a compact flipping jig. It's a real streamlined little jig. The Z-Man bugs on the back of it, so it's a real small profile. 853 JWR. One of my all-time favorite rods for sure. Come here, fish. I'm gonna let you go. That SLX. Well, I really don't want to mess around and lose this one, but I'm working pretty hard at it. Right there, couldn't handle the jig. Look at that, pretty fish. A little chunk right there. SLX DC. This is the first day I've thrown one. Really impressed. Brass gears, ultra smooth, compact frame. It's got the oversized handles on it. Againi frame, all aluminum frame. Beautiful reel, beautiful fish. Amazing thing about that DC reel, those used to be super, super expensive reels. We're looking at a couple $100 right now. That SLX DC, and it's every bit as good as the older DCs we used to throw. It's the same DC system that's in all those reels. Makes it a whole lot easier to cast. get a lot more distance, and you're never over there picking that loose line out, wasting time. Well, we've had enough for one day. We're headed in. It's been fun. If you guys like this gear, make sure to enter the gear giveaway for a chance to win. If you like the video, like, share, and tag a friend, and check in next week.